Hello and welcome again to a spot of positivity. This is Fabulous Food Friday, but it is Saturday, so that's just the way, what should I call it? Scrumptious something Saturday. Scrumptious Snack Saturday, that's what it is. Scrumptious Snack Saturday, and I'm going to use up some more plums. The other day I was talking about my great harvest of plums, which we got from the local fruit and vegetable shop, and I made a whole bunch of things from them. In fact, I'm going to show you before we start. I made jars of jam. It's got plum jam in here. Actually, this one turned out quite runny, but it's going to be like a sweet plum syrup, and all the jars sealed, so I'm really pleased about that. This is a little hint. If you put your jars through the dishwasher, hot, like it sterilizes them, and you boil the lids. The lids will seal nicely. So I'll give you an example. This is maybe a better example. See this little seal thing on the top? Because it doesn't move at all. It's pressed in, it's sealed. So this will actually keep for years. So it's pretty cool. You boil the lids and put them on hot and make sure everything is clean nicely. It should work. Anyway, today I'm going to make a lovely plum squares, oatmeal plum squares, and it is actually a recipe for apple squares, and as I said, you can substitute plums, but I'm going to add a little extra flour because the plums are quite liquidy. So I've put 2.5 cups of plums, chopped up plums in here. I've added to it a quarter cup of flour, a half a cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Now that looks a bit funny, I've let it sit for a while, but the flour, when it cooks, the flour will soak up the extra liquid, and that will be fine. It actually tastes delicious. Oh, I failed to mention there's a half a teaspoon of cinnamon in there. So that's sitting there. That's going to be the filling. I've got 1.5 cups of flour in this bowl. I'm going to add 1 3/4 cup of oatmeal. 1 3/4 cup. I think that's 3/4 cup. You can do it by sight. That's all right. 3/4 cup. No, 1 cup of brown sugar. Haha. Makes it tasty. There we go. There you go. 1 cup of brown sugar. Pinch of salt. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. And 3/4 cup of butter. So let's give it a little mix first. And then I'll add my butter. Now, we'll see how I do with a spoon. If I need to use my hands, I shall use my hands. What happens now is I press half of this into my prepared baking dish. It asks for an 8 by 8 inch square pan. This is more like 9 by 12, so it'll be a bit thinner, and I'll have to cook it a little less, so my amount of time will be slightly experimental, and I'll let you know how long it takes. This is a kind of thing my mom used to make when I was growing up with apples. And it's not an apple crumble dessert. It's bars, so that means you serve it when it's cold, and it's a wonderful little thing to have as a nibble when it's cold. I mean, you could have it hot with ice cream, but I would make an apple crumble or a plum crumble for that. That's a different kind of recipe. This has 2 layers of the crumbs, one below and one on top. So here we go. They're nicely mixed together. You want to just show how it looks here. I'm going to take a little more than half that mixture and empty it into my parchment lined dish. Pressing it down with my hands. Need to have enough to cover the bottom. It's not important that it's exactly half. It's more important that it covers the bottom. There you go. And then I'm going to take the plum mixture and spread it evenly on the top. I think a lot of liquid has come out in here, and I'm not going to put it all on because I don't see any purpose in adding extra liquid. So my oven is preheated to 190 degrees, depending on what you use. There we go. These plums are going to cook really nicely. I'm leaving some of that extra liquid. Really don't need all that stuff. There we go. So when it comes out of the oven, we'll resist the temptation to eat it all right away. I'll wait till it cools. Okay. This stuff goes on top. And we press it down slightly with our hands here. It's okay, there's an odd little plum peeking its head through. That's all right. I'm just going to wash my hands and stick it in the oven. So this bakes for about, oh my goodness, baked till golden brown. Isn't that funny? That's what my recipe says. It's going to be about half an hour. There it is. With a loud clunk, she puts it in the oven. We'll come back in half an hour and see how it looks, all right? Okay, so I think we've got something ready in the oven here, and we're going to see how it looks. So I'm going to grab my oven mitts. Smashy, smash, smash. And here we have our crumb bars. Now they're golden brown on top. It's been at 35 minutes. If I press it lightly, it feels firm, and there we have it. So what happens now is I turn the oven off because it's boiling hot in this house. There we go. And what happens now is that we don't dig into it straight away, as I said. This sits for a while, and then it's the kind of thing to serve cold. I'm sorry for all you cinnamon lovers, you plum and apple crisp crumble lovers. This is not that. It would, I do admit, it would taste lovely with custard or ice cream and served hot, but the temptation then would be having huge helpings of it. And this is more the kind of thing you almost want to have like a tray bake, or like a square, we would say in North America, or a bar. So this will be delicious when it's firmed up. And what's going to happen when it's a little cooler, I will just take it out by the parchment, and then I can cut it on there. And I've been a bit lazy, I realize, but because this dish doesn't have a flat bottom, it would be difficult to scrape it out of the pan, so I've chosen to use parchment this time. Anyway, that is a wonderful use for plums, and it's going to be absolutely delicious. So I'll put the recipe down below so you can see it. Enjoy it, and thank you again for joining me on A Spot of Positivity.